To the King, welcome back. I want to run just a couple of these news articles by you real quick. There was a huge earthquake strike that struck off Papua New Guinea, sparking Pacific Ring of Fire fears. This was a magnitude 6.9, struck off the coast of New Britain Island in Papua New Guinea this morning. Okay, USGS has said it was so powerful that it was felt as far away as the capital, Port Moresby, 460 miles away on the country's south coast. Wow. They had a 5.2 in Greece. There's a lot of quakes, so we won't list all the quakes. But we are starting to see a trend for the quakes to get bigger. Now, we also had a 6.4 in the Himalayan region of Tibet, China. The depth of the quake was 32 kilometers. Wow. That's really, really deep. Took place 17 kilometers from the Chinese town of Aduo and 294 kilometers from the city of Shamdo, the USGS reported. See, that's 2 6-pointers in a day, a single day. And one of them was almost a 7-pointer. And see, now we've been having a trend for a ton of them at fives, lists, a mile long of fives and a few sixes. Now you're getting multiple sixes in the same day. And so we're going into a period of time where I think we're going to start seeing a whole bunch of sixes as far as the quakes go. Let's see. One thing I want to talk to you about is, we've mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again, what the deal is with the elections. Okay? Now, I know it's a crazy thing for people right now for these elections. Now, what's going on here is that, George Soros purchased the American Election Board since Obama's last election and has moved it off of our shores to Spain. Or Spain, maybe it's that way. Okay? They moved it off of our shores, and George Soros was just busted, of course they won't do anything to him, for manipulating UK elections. Well, he owns our election board, and he did an interview with the World Economic Forum back in January. But a more recent video that I saw was that he thinks Trump is going to win a landslide in the popular vote, but that Hillary will be president because it's the electoral votes that elect the president, not the popular vote. So your vote doesn't even matter, okay? It's terrible. We were all taught in this country that it was our responsibility. I was taught this growing up. That it's our responsibility to vote because our soldiers have bled and died to give us that right. Well, that used to be the case, but that's not the case anymore. Our election process has been compromised and manipulated, and we no longer, as voters, have any control in it. Our votes are meaningless, totally meaningless, because it's the Electoral College. Do you remember that election where Gore won the popular vote and then Bush got the electoral vote, so he became president? That's the situation we've got now here too. Trump is going to take the popular vote, but Hillary's going to be the president. Now, she's sick. She's not going to make it very far. But it's not about either one of those two, believe it or not. It's about Tim Kaine, Hillary's running mate. He's a Jesuit. Okay? He announced himself that he was a Jesuit. And it's about piggybacking this Jesuit into the presidency on Hillary. Now, she's going to get in there. She's not going to be capable of the job, so she's going to have to step down for health causes. And then we will have President Tim Kaine, the Jesuit, who, our Pope, not our Pope, our Antichrist is the Pope, but he's a Jesuit as well. See, what they're doing is they're manipulating all of these Jesuits into these key positions. And that's what they're doing. Go online and look for the Jesuit oath, and you will see how dangerous it is to have Jesuits at the helm. They vow to take peace from the earth. They vow to cause pain and suffering because it pushes people toward the Pope for them to do that, and he serves the Pope. Okay? Now, these elections are a farce. So it's really bad. But here in Oklahoma, they even have a question on the ballot about the death penalty. They want to be able to change the method of killing people that are up for the death penalty. They want Oklahoma voters to give them the right to change the method at any point. And you know why? It's because they're going to kill us all by guillotine. The word says that we will be beheaded for our faith. Okay, that's coming. But don't be afraid of that, because you know what? Actually, it's scary. It has a fear factor. But if you really think about it, it's if you have to die, it's a way better way because it's so fast. It's instant. You never feel a thing. Okay? You never feel a thing. You close your eyes, you sing a song to Jesus. Next thing you know, you're home. All right? It's just so fast, totally painless. And it's just the fear factor you have to overcome. Okay? But it's interesting, isn't it, that they want the right in Oklahoma to change the method of execution to whatever they want it to be, at their discretion, and it still be legal. And that's on the ballot this year for Oklahoma. Along with libertarian candidates, we didn't have anybody on our ballot last time except for Obama and Romney. But this time we have a libertarian on there that nobody's ever even heard of. But I don't know. If I was going to vote, that would be probably who I would vote for. I like Trump better than Hillary, but let's be really, really honest about our situation here. We have an impending economic collapse looming right around the corner. So whether it's Tim Kaine or whether it's Donald Trump, either one of them, or Hillary, which is your worst case scenario in my opinion, whoever wins is going to take us straight into the Mark system. And the reason for that is because there is no recovery without it. Okay? They cannot recover from this huge debt load without it. They just can't do it. And they've taken all this money and they have invested it into underground cities, underground highways. They can fit the entire U.S. military underground, and probably a large portion of the population. Denver is huge underground. So, as these things approach, keep your head. Don't let yourself get scared and freak out and melt down. Okay? If you know the word, then you don't have to do that. We know what's coming ahead of time. Evil forecasts its devices. We just have to prepare ourselves to let go of everything here and be willing to follow Christ and stand for him and refuse the mark all the way to our deaths in Jesus' name. Okay, let's get into our study, shall we? Oh, where did we leave off? Let me see here. All right. Let's go to Proverbs 8:20. Proverbs 8:20. That's where we're going to pick up our study in Proverbs. Proverbs 8. With this here. I've got all kinds of Bibles here that I use. This is my favorite one, but it's fallen to pieces. So I use others as well. Proverbs 8:20. And see what my Bible looks like on the inside. I have got so many notes. Can you tell? See, all my pages look like that. It's just full of notes. As a matter of fact, this Bible is the only thing my kids all want when I die. It's got all my notes in it. Excuse me. 8:20. Okay. Now, let's recap 18. Riches and honor are with me. Okay, we're talking about wisdom and understanding here. Still. Riches and, well, let's go to 17. Back up one more. I love them that love me in 17. And those that seek me early shall find me. It's talking about wisdom and understanding. If you seek them early, you will find them. Now, if you wait until the world is blowing up in your face to even consider God, he says they'll call upon me, but I will not answer them. All right. So you do not want to wait until the world's blowing up in your face to seek God. Okay. I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. In 18, riches and honor are with me. Yea, durable riches and righteousness. Durable riches means if you have wisdom and understanding, you're also going to eat and have a roof over your head. Okay? In verse 19, my fruit is better than gold, yea, than fine gold. So the fruit of wisdom and understanding, what's produced by those things, is better than gold, yea, than fine gold. And my revenue, means what you gain from it, than choice silver. So wisdom and understanding are better than silver and gold. In verse 20, I lead in the way of righteousness. That's what wisdom and understanding do. In the midst of the paths of judgment. Now, wisdom and understanding are among the 7 spirits before the throne of God. They are mentioned in Revelation 1:4 and named for us in Isaiah 11:2. Verse 21, that I may cause those that love me. Do you love wisdom and understanding? Do you want to be wise? Do you want to understand? Seek the Lord. Seek wisdom and understanding. That I may cause those that love me to inherit substance. Our inheritance is not a spiritual thing. It's a real thing. It's just not right here in this world. Okay? And I will fill their treasures. So if you're walking with the King here, you got a lot to look forward to there. In verse 22, the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way. That would be, we're still talking about wisdom and understanding. Before his works of old. So see, wisdom and understanding were with God, as well as the other 7, the other 5 of the 7 spirits, before he created the world. In verse 23, I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. So these 7 spirits existed before the world was created. In verse 24, when there were no depths, I was brought forth. See, when the earth was still without form and void, wisdom and understanding were brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills was, I brought forth. In verse 26, while as yet he had not made the earth, see, this is prior to him making the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. And the I is wisdom and understanding, okay? When he set a compass upon the face of the depth. When he established the clouds above. When he strengthened the foundations of the deep. Wisdom and understanding were already there. In verse 29, when he gave to the sea his decree, that the waters should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth. Wow. Isn't that cool? It sounds a lot like Job, doesn't it? Like the book of Job. When he gave to the sea his decree that the waters should not pass his commandment. That's why they stay within the shorelines, the waters usually do, because he has commanded that they stay within those boundaries. When he appointed the foundations of the earth. In verse 30, then I was by him, still talking about wisdom and understanding, as one brought up with him. And wisdom and understanding, when acquired from a very young age, can really be beneficial to your life. And I was daily his delight. So that's interesting, isn't it? Wisdom and understanding were a delight to the Lord even back then. Rejoicing always before him. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? How wisdom and understanding can rejoice before the Lord. In verse 31, rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth. That's interesting. Rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth. That's the land that rose, the firmament that rose up from the water. And my delights were with the sons of men. The Lord loves us. He delights in us. Now therefore hearken unto me, O ye children. He's talking to his own. For blessed are they that keep my ways. We want to learn the word and keep it. Obey his word. Once he's taught it to you, he expects you to obey it. And it is to your benefit to do so. In verse 33, hear instruction and be wise and refuse it not. In verse 34, blessed is the man that heareth me. Still, wisdom and understanding is who's talking here. Watching daily at my gates. The gates of wisdom and understanding. You're watching for the king and learning and growing and obeying him. Waiting at the posts of my doors. For whoso findeth me findeth life. If you find wisdom and understanding, you find Jesus Christ, who is life and truth, and shall obtain favor of the Lord. If you come with wisdom and understanding, you're going to obtain favor. Okay? But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. Now, we don't love death, but death is going to be a comfort in the tribulation period. Sometimes death is a comfort. If your body is racked with sickness and disease, and you are miserable and in pain constantly, death can be a comfort. It says, he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. And do you know people that love death? Well, they think they love death, but then when they take the mark and death eludes them, when they, you can jump off of a building, break every bone in your body, and you're still not going to die if you take the mark. You are going to be captured in your own body, trapped without any method of escape, and you have no control. It's like you're trapped in your body. You're not permitted anymore to sleep. They have no rest day nor night, because this mark can hijack your mind and cause you to be productive 24/7. 24/7. Do you know how fast your flesh body is going to deteriorate without sleep? But they can't die. They're trapped in their body and their flesh is rotting off their bones. Don't be afraid to die if you are ill and miserable. Oh my, death is a comfort because it's the end of our race where we get to go home and it finally all pays off. All the suffering pays off. in Romans 8:18 it says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not to be compared with the glory that will be revealed in us." So even though your sufferings may be great, they are nothing compared to the glory that will be revealed in you. And you will be looking at the two saying, wow, my great, great, amazing sufferings are nothing compared to the glory that is revealed in us through Christ our Lord. Isn't he cool? Let's keep going. In verse 9, this is the contrast of wisdom and folly. Wisdom hath builded her house. This is 9:1. Wisdom hath builded her house. She hath hewn out her 7 pillars. Now that could be the 7 spirits. We need them all. She hath killed her beasts. She hath mingled her wine. She hath also furnished her table. And we're still talking about wisdom and folly contrasted. She hath sent forth her maidens. She crieth upon the highest places of the city. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, come and eat of my bread, and drink of the wine which I have mingled. So you're talking about wisdom and understanding here. Remember that. It says in verse 3 there, she hath sent forth her maidens. She crieth upon the highest places of the city. So the Lord is reaching out to people with wisdom and understanding, crying out for them to want these very important things. In verse 6, forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding, which is in the way of the word, the way of the Lord. He that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame. Do you know what reproving a scorner is? That means if you try to correct them, you get to yourself shame because they won't pay any attention. They're not going to learn. They're just going to turn around and stomp you into the ground. And he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. If you rebuke a wicked man, there is going to be a price to pay for that. He's not going to ever forget it. He's going to want to hurt you. Reprove not a scorner. Those who are stomping on the word of God, dissing the gospel, they scorn and they mock and they tease and they do this for sport. Reprove not a scorner. That means don't try to correct him, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. If you rebuke someone who is wise, they will love you for it. They'll appreciate it. In verse 9, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man. That's a good man. Someone who follows the Lord and obeys the word. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That's verse 10. Have you ever heard that before? It's true. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You cannot learn and gain any wisdom until you understand that the Lord is not someone to be tangled with. He is so far above us in every way, shape, and form that it is foolish to refuse him, or you can't really, to even attempt it. It's foolish. It says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Wow. The knowledge of the holy, the way things are done in heaven. For by me thy days shall be multiplied, and the years of thy life shall be increased. Did you hear that? If you have wisdom and understanding, that can cause you to live a longer life. It says it'll add years of your life, and the years of your life shall be increased. How about it? If thou be wise, thou shalt be wise for thyself. But if thou scornest, thou alone shalt bear it. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? A foolish woman is clamorous. Let's look that up. That's not a common word. We want to make sure that we understand these definitions of these words in the Bible. If there's one that you come across, you're not sure what it means, you look it up. Now, it says the word clamorous is, let's see, making a loud and confused noise. Also, expressing or characterized by vehement protests or demands. Here's some synonyms. She's noisy, loud, vocal, vociferous, raucous, rowdy. Expressing or characterized by vehement protests or demands. So the foolish woman she argues with everything. She is simple and knoweth nothing. Means she's stupid. She's not smart at all. For she sitteth at the door of her house on a seat in the high places of the city, to call passengers who go right on their ways. Whoso is simple, that means stupid, let him turn in hither. And as for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him. This is the bad woman, okay? She saith to him, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. A sneak around kind of thing. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. He should run for his life. We're going to go into our study in Genesis when we come back. Don't go away.